the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. My beloved chosen ones, stop scrolling. Listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you just to speak this into your spirit. This Sunday is different, not because the calendar shifted, not because something is trending, but because the heavens have marked it. There is a silence that carries weight, a stillness that speaks, and you can feel it. It's subtle, but you know your soul has been stirring, your sleep interrupted, your thoughts drifting towards something divine. You've been sensing something building in the unseen. And you're right, this is not about hype. It's not coincidence. It's not even something you planned for, but God did. Long before you felt the stirring, before you whispered your silent questions into the night, He was preparing the Sunday. Not for the crowd, not for the many, but for you, His chosen one. The one who stayed faithful in the shadows. The one who kept praying even when heaven seemed silent. The one who dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, you weren't forgotten. This sign will not come the way you expect. It might not be in thunder or earthquake, not in bright lights or loud voices. It might be in a whisper, a moment, a divine interruption that no one else sees, but you will feel it. Like fire in your bones. Something will click. Something will align. You will feel the weight of it settle in your chest, and you will know this is not emotion. This is not imagination. This is divine. You've been waiting, and heaven has been watching. The timing has been brutal, but it has also been perfect. Every delay, every detour was the hand of God rooting you toward this moment. You thought the silence meant you were forgotten, but it meant preparation. You thought the pause was punishment, but it was placement. He's about to confirm everything you feared you made up in faith. You didn't imagine it. You weren't crazy. You were discerning. As we read in Isaiah 43:2, when you walk through fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. God didn't bring you through the flames to abandon you. Now, this Sunday is a reward, a reminder, a rebirth. It's the moment your spirit stands up and says, I knew there was more. Do not brush this off. When God speaks in subtle ways, it's the wise who pay attention. There's a frequency only the faithful can hear, and you've been tuned into it for longer than you realize. The tension you've been under was never random. It was resistance to the shift coming for you. Now that resistance is breaking. You're entering a weekend wrapped in divine intention. What will look like an ordinary day to others will be a holy confirmation to you. You may have been overlooked in rooms full of noise. You may have sat quietly while others were chosen ahead of you. But this time the sign is not going to a group. It's coming to the one, to you. God specializes in personal encounters, encounters that transform your atmosphere, confront your doubt, and cancel your fear. You're not going to have to guess whether it's from Him. It will carry His fingerprint, specific, sharp, unabashed. Don't go into Sunday casually. Prepare your spirit. Make room. Don't crowd your schedule with distractions. Set your mind like flint. This is not the weekend for apathy. This is the hour for alertness. You've cried for clarity, you've prayed for a word, you've asked for evidence. And God in His perfect sovereignty has chosen this day to deliver it. He moves for the watchful, He reveals to the obedient. And if you dare to position yourself with expectation, He will not disappoint. His signs are not vague when given to the faithful. What's coming will be so aligned to your life, it will silence every lingering doubt. This is not about religion, this is about relationship. A father proving to his child that he heard every whispered plea, that he took account of every tear, every unanswered prayer, every silent sacrifice. Heaven is not blind to what you endure in the dark. And this Sunday is heaven's way of answering you in the light. Paul reminds us in Ephesians 2:6 that God raised us up with Christ and seated us with Him in the heavenly realms. You are not beneath your warfare. You are above it. You are seated in victory, even if your surroundings still look like a battlefield. This sign will remind you of your position, high, hidden hope. This is where you draw a line in the spirit. This is where you silence the lie that said you missed it. This is where you throw off the shame of delay and put on the robe of divine timing. This is where you stop questioning if you're chosen and start walking like you know you are. Now, if your spirit is bearing witness, if something inside you is rising, trembling, shouting, "This is for me," then don't let this pass quietly. Let your response be your agreement. Comment one word below. Ready? That one word is not for me, it's for the courts of heaven. It's for the divine record that says, on this day, this one believed. Ready? Chosen one. The moment heaven decides to pause over a life, everything else bows in obedience. What you're about to encounter isn't random. It's not good luck or a coincidence. It's an appointment set by God before time touched your name. This Sunday has been written in the eternal archive of your destiny. What others will scroll past, you will live through. What others call a nice day, you'll remember as the hour heaven breathed on your life. There's something sacred about divine interruptions. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait until you're ready. They step into your timeline unannounced and flip the atmosphere with one whisper. This Sunday is not about goosebumps or emotional surges. It's about clarity, a shift, a moment that realigns you with the frequency of heaven. After seasons of confusion, delay, and detours, you've been misjudged because of your silence. People assumed you were stagnant because you didn't speak on what you were building. They didn't see the tears you planted, the dreams you buried in prayer, the nights you spent trying to keep hope alive. But God did. That's why this Sunday He's sending a sign that will make you stand up inside. Not louder, just stronger, more convinced, more certain. Because when God confirms you, no man can cancel you. There's a divine hush over your life right now. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of presence. The kind of stillness that tells you something is near. Like the still air before the wind shifts. That's what you're walking into. A divine pause that marks the ending of confusion and the beginning of divine acceleration. The way you feel is not fatigue, it's the glory of anticipation. Your spirit knows your inner man is stretching, reaching, listening for what eye hasn't seen and ear hasn't heard. It's spiritual preparation for a visible manifestation. This isn't just about receiving a sign, it's about becoming the proof. Sometimes God speaks the loudest when He doesn't say a word. You've been in that space where it felt like your prayers echoed back void, where silence wrapped around your spirit like fog. But even then He was moving, rearranging, shielding. You didn't hear Him because He was working. And this Sunday, the fruit of that silence will break through the surface of your life. The interruption that's coming won't be public, but it will be powerful. Don't measure its magnitude by noise. Measure it by how your spirit responds. When heaven pauses over a soul, everything changes. Even if nothing looks different to the eye, the shift starts in the spirit and then spills out into every room of your life. That's what's coming, a soft realignment, not dramatic. But this is even the kind of moment that seems small until you realize everything changed after it. Sunday won't just be another date on the calendar. It will be the place where God intersected your ordinary with His extraordinary. It's written in Luke 10:19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. That authority doesn't need to shout, it just needs to walk in awareness. And this Sunday will remind you that you've been walking in victory, even when you felt like crawling through battlefields. This is the kind of divine visitation that changes how you speak, how you pray, how you expect. You won't beg for scraps when you've seen heaven's table set just for you. After this sign, you'll stop shrinking, stop second guessing, stop apologizing for the weight you carry. Because the sign isn't the prize, it's the confirmation that the prize is already within you. Rest, chosen one, not in apathy, but in holy readiness. Do not strive for what's already been decided. Simply prepare to recognize it. Stay alert, stay low, stay ready. The Spirit of God does not send signs to the distracted, but to the discerning. And your discernment is being rewarded. You are not crazy. You are not late. You are not disqualified. This pause over your life is sacred space, a quiet room in the Spirit, where God Himself is crafting the next chapter of your story. And it begins this Sunday. Chosen one, you've been marked, not by accident, not by man, but by the hands of the Almighty. What's coming for you this Sunday is not something you stumbled into. It's something heaven reserved with your name sealed on it. This is not about being in the right place at the right time. This is about being the right one. Chosen before time began, set apart, hidden for a holy reason, protected through battles that should have taken you out. And now, the moment is arriving. The sign you're about to witness is not just a kind word or emotional feeling. It is divine recognition. All of heaven is making a declaration about you. This one belongs to me. It's going to look like confirmation, but feel like fire. It's going to sound like peace, but move like a storm in your spirit. Because when God marks you, He doesn't whisper your purpose. He brands it into your being. You've always felt the difference from childhood. You didn't fit their circles. You couldn't fake their laughter. Even in rooms full of people, you carried a quiet knowing, I'm not like the rest. You cried over things they laughed at. You prayed when others played. You felt burdened by a world you couldn't ignore. That's not sensitivity. That's spiritual assignment. You've been tuned to heaven's frequency while others settle for noise. And this Sunday, that spiritual tuning becomes visible. Your secret knowing becomes public evidence. God is making it known. This one is chosen, anointed, trusted with weight others couldn't carry. Your sign won't come with fanfare. It will arrive with clarity. The kind of clarity that shakes off confusion like dust. It will remind you that you were never imagining things. You were perceiving purpose. What's coming will silence the lies. The ones that said you were forgotten, the ones that said you missed your moment. God is about to shut the mouths of doubt with one act of divine proof. And when it happens, you won't have. The sign will speak louder than words. It will testify of your endurance, your faith, your surrender. Let this settle deep. You are marked, not just for survival, but for leadership, for glory, for impact. You carry a flame that darkness cannot decipher. You walk in light that the enemy can't trace. That's why you felt warfare increase lately. It wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a signal that breakthrough was near. As Paul reminds us in Romans 8, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. This glory isn't coming later, it's starting now. It begins with a sign that activates everything God already placed in you. And now, chosen one, I want you to engage with this moment in this, not just with your ears, but with your expectation. Comment the number 333 below if your heart is open and your spirit is aligned. That number represents divine completion, a seal of heaven's order. It's not superstition, it's a signal, a declaration, a way of saying, I am marked, I receive, I agree. You've come too far to hesitate now. There's a fire in your belly and a trembling in your hands because your spirit knows it's close. The sign is close. The shift is close. Everything is aligning in ways you can't yet explain, but soon won't be able to deny. Stay in position. Stay in the posture of readiness. Let the marking lead you. Chosen one, this Sunday will not be like the others. Hear this deeply. You were never made to blend in. Every season of rejection, every moment you were left out, was heaven's hand hiding you. You weren't forgotten. You were protected, set apart, marked for something that could not survive the crowd. You were made for a path that few dare to walk. And this Sunday, what once felt like a curse of isolation will reveal itself as a seal of divine purpose. You've asked, why me? So many times. Why the pain? Why the silence? Why the constant inner battle? It's because your call is not like the rest. You carry something dangerous to darkness. That's why I tried to break you early. That's why I came after your identity before you even knew who you were. But what the enemy didn't know is this: what God ordains, no warfare can erase. You were not built for shallow waters. You were designed for deep places. Deep calls unto deep. That's why you've never been satisfied with surface answers. Why empty religion never fed you. Why meaningless noise irritates your spirit. You carry the weight of glory and your spirit craves truth, presence and fire. You've been fashioned to disrupt, not to conform. This Sunday, the difference you've always sensed will become undeniable, not in arrogance, but in assurance. You'll realize it wasn't in your head, it was in your DNA. God wrote distinction into your soul. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were sent to shift atmospheres, to walk into rooms and change the temperature, to carry oil that doesn't run dry. And it's been costly. The misunderstanding, the loneliness, the long seasons of not being seen. But heaven saw, heaven documented every sacrifice. Every time you chose obedience over popularity. Every time you stayed silent when you could have fought back. Every time you worshipped while bleeding. It was all recorded. And now the time of showing is upon you. There is no elevation without excavation. You've been through the digging, the painful unearthing of pride, fear, insecurity. You've been humbled, broken, emptied, but you've also been refined, strengthened, rooted. God doesn't raise up leaders He hasn't stripped. And because you endured the stripping, you're about to wear the crown. The sign coming this Sunday isn't just confirmation, it's a coronation. A holy moment when heaven places its seal on the one who said yes in silence. And this kind of marking isn't for show, it's for impact, it's for legacy. You're stepping into an anointing that will overflow into every area of your life. Relationships, assignments, ideas, influence. It's all aligning with purpose now. The world will see the fruit, but they won't know the cost. They'll notice the glow, but not the groaning that preceded it. Let them talk. Let them guess. You owe no explanations. Your life will be your loudest testimony. And this Sunday marks the day the silence breaks. David was anointed in obscurity, chosen while still in the field. The oil found him not because of popularity, but because of posture. You too have been postured correctly, even when no one was watching. And now, like David, you're about to experience the weight of heaven's oil. It was declared in 1 Samuel 16:13. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon them. That anointing didn't just change David, it changed history. The oil didn't make him famous first, it made him ready. That's what this sign will do for you. It will make you ready for what's next. You don't need a platform. You don't need applause. You need the oil. And that oil is coming with clarity, direction, power. Not in fireworks, but in quiet authority. You'll walk differently, think differently, speak differently, not because you're trying, but because the mark of heaven is resting on you. Prepare your spirit, set your mind, guard your atmosphere. Not everyone can go with you into this next place. You were not called to carry extra weight. The next dimension requires separation, discernment, and focus. You are not like the rest, and that is your power. This Sunday will be your quiet shift into undeniable purpose. Let the difference speak. Chosen one, the enemy is nervous. He's not nervous because of where you've been. He's nervous because of where you're about to go. Make no mistake, hell doesn't waste its weapons on those who pose no threat. The intensity of your recent warfare is not random. It is a spiritual reaction to what God has already released over your life. The darkness has caught wind of the sign that is approaching this Sunday, and it is trembling at the confirmation heaven is about to place upon your identity. You have endured more than most. Long nights where sleep was stolen by anxiety. Mornings where getting out of bed felt like lifting a mountain. Silent cries where your only words were, God, why am I still fighting this? And yet you remained. You didn't break. You didn't bow. You stood your ground even when the ground shook beneath you. And now the spiritual realm is shifting. You are not merely surviving, you are rising. This Sunday is not just another date. It is a divine interruption designed to reverse every assignment sent to destroy you. God is not just about to bless you, He's about to vindicate you, to place His seal on the one the world overlooked, mocked, and misunderstood. You will become heaven's answer to every lie hell has spoken over your life. When Jesus stood in the wilderness, tempted and targeted, He didn't beg or plead. He stood in the authority of the word. So will you. Your authority is not in your feelings, it is in your position. You are seated in heavenly places, and the enemy is under your feet. No matter what it looks like in the natural, the Spirit has already declared victory belongs to you. It was declared in Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Notice it never says the weapon won't form, it says it won't prosper. You've seen the weapons, felt the sting, but they are losing their power now. This Sunday will be your moment of evidence. Some of the resistance you faced lately didn't even come from strangers, it came from familiar voices. People close to you whose words wounded more than open attacks. The enemy used proximity to try and poison your promise. But God has been protecting your mind, keeping your spirit anchored. You've been growing silently, invisibly, like a seed under pressure. And now the sign is the sprouting, the breaking through, the public revelation of what's been maturing underground. You've walked through fire and the smoke didn't consume you. You've been buried in pain and still you've produced praise. That kind of worship, painful, honest, unfiltered, is what moves heaven. And this Sunday, heaven is about to move for you. This is the hour where you will stop shrinking, stop apologizing for your light, stop asking for permission to be anointed. There is no more room for timid obedience. The next assignment on your life requires boldness, and that's what this sign will give you. It's more than encouragement, it's equipping. You will walk away from this moment with eyes that see clearer, prayers that hit deeper, and confidence that doesn't shake. Do not be surprised if the warfare intensifies right before Sunday. That's how it works. Breakthrough always attracts final attempts from the enemy, but don't let the shaking make you second guess what God already confirmed. Your posture must be unshakable. The lion doesn't fear the growl of the wolf. The Spirit is setting things in order. You may feel disoriented now, but order is coming. The sign won't just bless your heart, it will align your life. Watch how things begin to flow after it. Conversations will shift, opportunities will open, peace will return because you endured the pressing. Now you'll walk in the power. And if your spirit is resonating with this word, let your agreement carry action. Subscribe our social media platforms if your heart bears witness. You're not just consuming encouragement, you're carrying it. And if you feel led, you can also sow into this ministry. Not because you're buying a blessing, but because you're honoring the voice that fed your spirit. That's what spiritual maturity looks like. Recognizing the moment and responding with reverence. Let others laugh, let them doubt. Your life is about to testify, and no devil in hell can cancel what heaven has confirmed. Chosen one, what's about to happen this Sunday will not make sense to your flesh, but your spirit has already begun to prepare. You may not understand why, but you've been drawn into deeper stillness. You felt a divine quiet, a call to solitude, a strange longing to pull away from distractions. That's not coincidence, it's calibration. The Spirit of God has been fine-tuning your discernment, setting your internal compass to hear what can only be heard in obedience. This sign is not coming as a reward for being loud. It's coming as a response to your alignment. You didn't force your way to the front. You didn't manipulate doors. You simply obeyed even when the instructions didn't come with explanations. You moved when God said move. You stayed when everything in you wanted to run. And now the heavens are responding to that frequency, because obedience isn't just about action, it's about trust. And you've shown the Father that He can trust you with the weight of instruction. Obedience in secret builds authority in public. You didn't need applause to say yes. You didn't need a guarantee to take the risk. That kind of faith shakes realms. That kind of surrender opens floodgates. What's coming this Sunday is a reflection of how heaven views your life. Trustworthy, dependable, ready. Don't confuse this sign for comfort alone. It's a calling. It will not lull you to sleep, it will wake something up. It will reignite prayers you stopped praying, resurrect assignments you tried to forget. It will bring divine pressure, not to burden you, but to activate you, to make you aware that God is not just giving you a sign, He is handing you a responsibility. You've walked through too much not to carry something from it. This isn't just about surviving storms. It's about stewarding what the storm taught you. That pain, it's not wasted. It refined your hearing, increased your authority. And now, with one simple moment, one sacred signal, everything is about to align. It was written in Psalm 25:14, "The Lord confides in those who fear Him. He makes His covenant known to them." This Sunday, you will know the difference between inspiration and instruction. You will not leave with goosebumps. You will leave with direction. Your feet will find the path again. The fog is clearing. Many have ignored their signal because it didn't come wrapped in glamour, but not you. You know that God's voice sometimes comes in quiet impressions, subtle nudges, moments that pass quickly if we're not alert. That's why the Spirit has been training your senses. That's why you feel things others miss. Because this sign isn't for the passive, it's for the postured. And here's what the Spirit is prompting. When the sign comes, it will require a response, a softening, a surrender, a deep inward yes. This isn't about watching, this is about walking. You are not a spectator in your own deliverance. You're a participant. And your obedience is the trigger. So right now, if this word is stirring something in your spirit, if your heart is echoing with trembling and recognition, declare it aloud or type it somewhere only you and heaven can see. "I will obey." That phrase is not just words, it's spiritual alignment. When you speak it, you disarm rebellion. When you write it, you silence hesitation. You may not know the next step, but heaven does not require your map, only your yes. Say it with trembling hands. Say it with unsure eyes. Say it with the last ounce of trust you have left. "I will obey." That declaration unlocks what your striving never could. It tells heaven, "I am willing, I am listening, I am aligned." You've been tested in secret. Now heaven will trust you in public. But obedience must still lead. This isn't the time for opinions. This isn't the time for delay. When the sign appears, you'll know it. It will arrest your spirit, pause your thoughts, mark your heart. And the only right response will be surrender. This is the obedience that breaks delay, accelerates promises, and realigns timelines that were disrupted. That once on hold, now released with urgency. Acceleration is not coming, it's already begun. And when it happens, you'll feel it not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. A sudden lightness, an internal clarity, a peace that doesn't make sense. You'll see signs unfold that you didn't manipulate. Opportunities surface that no human could have arranged. Conversations align, timing sharpens, and what was blurry becomes focused. It's not chance, it's divine design. Finally touching down, delay taught you things that favor never could. Build patience, yes, but also posture. How to kneel without answers. How to bless when there was no breakthrough. How to intercede with dry lips and tired limbs. That posture is now your spiritual resume. And heaven is promoting what was hidden. This is not compensation, it's culmination. The merging of your obedience with God's timing. And don't be surprised when things begin to unfold fast. Divine delay often ends in divine speed, because what God withheld in one season, He can release in a moment. What looked impossible last week will feel effortless next week. Not because the problem changed, but because you did. You've grown into the solution. You are not denied, you were reserved for a better moment. a more impactful, a version of you that no longer relies on validation to move forward. What's being released will not crush you, it will crown you. Because you carry a new capacity, a refined discernment, a quiet authority that doesn't shout but shifts everything in the room. Delay was the fire that forged your discernment. You now know how to recognize what's God and what's noise. You no longer chase, you wait. And because you waited, now God is about to show you what He's been building behind the veil. Watch this Sunday, pay attention. Things that used to resist you will start to yield. Systems that rejected you will begin to request you. Places that forgot your name will suddenly remember you. You won't need to push. Grace will go ahead of you, because this is the hour when delay loses its grip and divine flow takes over. This will not be a one-time blessing. It is a new rhythm.